Alright, we're going to be cutting out the Death Star now. A couple different approaches to this you could take. One is to use the marquee tool, the elliptical marquee tool. This gets a little hairy. You have to do some keystrokes ready to make this work correctly, but you just hold shift to drag a perfect circle. Yeah, you got to hold shift. And if you want to move that circle around, you got to hold down the space bar and shift at the same time. Whatever you do, don't let up on your mouse button. As soon as you do, the selection commits, and you'd have to draw a new one for this to work. But make sure you're a little bit inside of the Death Star. Hold down shift, use a space bar to move around until you're in position. And that should be about it. That looks pretty good. Then let go. Now right there, yes, I'm losing some Death Star, but then I'm guaranteed not to have any white space around this. If you're really uptight, you could right click. You could go to transform section here, or selection, not section. And you could make this a little bit bigger. Hold down shift, try to make sure that everything is lined up perfectly. Again, this is a little bit unnecessary, but if you felt like you wanted absolute perfection, maybe you're a true Star Wars fan, you want to get this right, that's how you do it. When you're done, just like a regular transformation, you just hit commit. And the last step to this would be to press Control J. Make sure you're on the right layer, and there you go. There's your Death Star. If you want to check and make sure the background looks really good, you can, on to press Control Alt Z, you could just choose Select and Mask, and then you could look at this on a ruby length background like this guy right here. You can even take the opacity up if you want to, just to make sure that this actually looks good. It'll show you if there's any white edges, anything that you didn't want. There you have it. Death Star is looking pretty good. Look, oh, there is a white edge. Look at that. Right there. See that white edge? Ooh. Looks like I made a mistake there. So I'm going to go ahead and press cancel and fix my little mistake here real quick. It shouldn't be too much work. I'm just going to take my paintbrush right here. It's one of my options. And let's lightly hit this edge right there. Oops. I hit the wrong button there. Let me press subtract, and I'll subtract that area. There we go. I overdid it slightly right there. Let me set this to add. This could happen to you, so it's just real life. Just the real thing right here. There's room for some error in here, but you don't have to put up with it if you don't want to. It all depends on what size this is actually going to be whenever you go to view it. If it's going to be really small on a really small screen, it's really not going to matter, some of these details. But it's going to be on a great big high resolution poster, yeah, it's going to matter. I'm going to press OK. And once again, press Control J, and I should have a nice little cutout without any white edges around it. Okay, and that's how I suggest cutting out the Death Star. There is another way that some of you guys might have thought of at first, which is to take the magic wand and just click on the white, because the magic wand selects colors. It'll select everything. But then there's a problem. If I press Control J now, I end up with this. Well, who the heck wants that, right? So that doesn't work that well. I could right click and say select inverse, and you might think that's going to create a perfect selection, and it will make a pretty good selection. But really, the selection is it's probably not going to be as good as the one I just got. It's not going to be as clean. Let me go ahead and choose select and mask up here at the top, and we'll take a look. I don't know. I might be wrong. Maybe this is a better selection. Yeah, I see a little bit of a white edge over here. Not much. Something going on right there. Oh, just made it worse. Let me set this to minus and subtract that. There we go. Now I'm feeling better. But that worked pretty well. Anytime you see a solid color around an object, you can always use that tool or the quick selection tool. You kind of got to make a decision. Oh, I'm seeing a pretty clear white edge right there. So I think that actually is going to cause a problem. Yeah, there you go. So I think my method worked better. Use either one. I suggest the first method I showed you.